Okay, beautiful. Everyone, if you're not speaking, can you please mute yourself? I hit record, so we record the session for everyone else who cannot make it today. Today we have a special mastermind call. We are here with Bertil, Danny, Miko. We have Berani, Odin, Rob, and Pim. And also we have Steve joining. Steve is a new member. We agreed his membership this week. Steve is joining from, I think he's in Estonia as well, Miko? I think so. Huh? Miko is in Estonia. So here's the thing. Why do we focus on Corona today in this mastermind session? Yesterday, I didn't have this plan yet. Yesterday evening, I had a very special evening. I had a phone call with somebody from the Awesome People group who has been tracking the coronavirus already for several weeks. He's been informing the government, giving them advice, do this, do this, do this, do this. He already told them to shut down the schools 2 weeks ago. Of course, everything happens a bit slower. I normally don't watch the news. I don't read the news. I don't have a television even. So Corona has just been my periphery. More and more people started to talk about it. And yesterday's conversation, that really felt like a calling to wake up. This is really happening. It's not like the other diseases that were spreading where we could just do our own thing, go about our business, and at some point it was done. This seems to be really coming our way in the sense of the Netherlands, but whole of Europe. We know the virus started off in China, and my friend, what he's been doing is he's been tracking the natural development of the virus. So all the number of infections per day and percentage of people who die. On 28 February, he made an analysis and a prediction for the number of infections in Europe and the percentage of deaths. He predicted on 28 February that today, 12 March, there will be 25,000 infections. In reality, there's 23,500. So that shows that his predictions are spot on. One disadvantage, or one less fun part about this prediction is that he predicted 2.4% of the people would actually die from the virus. In reality, it is now at 6.2. So that shows that probably in China, either the virus had a different effect or they reported lower numbers. Here's the thing. His predictions continue, and he predicts 1.4 million infected people in Europe by the end of this month, so 31 March. When we look at Wuhan, the first city where it broke out, we see a trend like this. It goes up, 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 then at some point flattens, and then it slowly goes down. So I asked myself, what happened at that point, at the peak? What turned the tide?
Alexander, we cannot see you though, just heads up.
Good that you say. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So here I am. What happened? What turned the tide? It was the quarantine. So the moment that Wuhan went in quarantine, that's when it straightened out, and after a while it went down. So we can safely state that until we are in quarantine, the virus will keep spreading. Or in other words, quarantine is inevitable, probably here in the Netherlands within 1 or 2 weeks already, and that probably goes for all European countries. So whatever you're working on, whatever's on your to-do list for today, whatever goals you set for this month, it's probably not so relevant anymore with the new world that is taking shape, at least for the coming months. Typically, you can say after 1 or 2 months of quarantine, things can fade away and life can continue. Although we can expect that big companies will start become shaky and dip over in the next 3 to 6 months as well. I don't like to think in these types of scenarios. I like to be optimistic, positive, and I've been doing my own thing up until yesterday. This information came up. Let's do a quick round. For me, this was a big mind shift where I said, ooh, world is changing now. This is something we need to focus on. Who already made that shift? Please raise your hand if you already went into, let's say, survival modus. Back to basics. What do I need to arrange? Okay, Danny, Virani. Cool. I'm improvising here on how can we use this call for maximum benefit. And Nico as well. One of the benefits of WIN Mastermind is that we have a worldwide network. So in 20 minutes, we have Alessio joining, and Alessio is in Italy in quarantine. So he can tell us what life is like that. What do we need to arrange? I also, Miko, I want to hear from you about Norway in just a moment. Here's a couple of things that I have on my list. Groceries, stock up, canned food, and pasta and rice, stuff that we can use to eat for the next 6 to 8 weeks. I go to Lidl and fill the cart together with Stacy. Cash money. Don't leave all your money in one bank account, because when the banks decide to freeze your account or to say you can take maximum 50 euros per week, what are you going to do? Take your money off your account, make sure you have cash, put a bit in Bitcoin, diversify between different banks, different countries if you have foreign bank account. PayPal, put it in different places so you are free to move. When you want to buy a bag of potatoes from your neighbor in a month's time and you don't have cash, what are you going to do? I have a couple of interesting blogs that you can follow. I will share the resources later. One of them is Sovereign Man. Sovereign Man, I've been already following for 6-7 years, and he speaks about this scenario and how to prepare. Nico, can you unmute yourself for a moment and share what you've learned about what's going on in Norway right now?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Actually, it's a bit of a stressful situation right now for me because we were supposed to have some of my leaders in my team a trip to Oslo today. I have paid everything for 12 people, and then in the evening yesterday morning we were still going. Then in the evening I got a call from our founder that Norway is the worst place in Europe to go to at the moment if you want to catch the virus. It's doubled in 24 hours, over doubled in 24 hours, and basically the whole country is going into panic. And he has several friends who are our age, I mean, not old, who are really have never been so sick as they are right now, like so sick that they can't even feel their body. And they are taking a lot of health products. And of course, the government hasn't taken the appropriate actions, because if you think about China, Wuhan, what they did was they had about the same amount of infections as Norway has today, and they closed 60 million people. Norway has 5 million population, and they have more infected than what Wuhan had when they closed the whole bloody country or the area, like completely quarantined. And that's the only way if we want to slow this thing down. The biggest risk is obviously the healthcare is going to go on its knees big time now. There's only 300 breathing machines in Norway, 300, and there's going to be thousands who need it in the next 10 days. So yeah, the situation is not very good. I've just been buying flights because I had some of my team flying tomorrow back, and we fear that they're going to hopefully, well, I hope that they will shut the airports, but I hope I can get my guys out of there before they do that. So it's really bad at the moment there. Yes.
Okay.
And we're about 10 days away from everywhere else, I guess. Well, Sweden is already as bad. Denmark is very close. Finland is a little bit behind, and Estonia a little bit behind, but none of the politicians seems to be doing enough measures right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nobody has the courage to step up and really shut it down like Wuhan did. I would like to hear someone's opinion if someone is more medically advanced than me, but as I have understood, because what could also be one of the reasons why in Norway people who are classified as healthy are really, really sick right now. They were skiing in northern Italy. If you get the virus, if you've gotten the virus from kind of the source in northern Italy versus if it's passed on 2 or 3 generations, I mean, let's say there's 3 or 4 people catching it and then you get it. As I have understood that the effect is very different. So hopefully the impact isn't as hard. Or does anyone have any thought or opinion on this?
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
please.
so the thing is, like, I find the symptoms a bit confusing right now, and I think it changes per person. So I know a couple of people who have been like feeling a bit sick, but they are not sure yet. And the moment that they call the doctors here in the Netherlands, they just say, okay, just wait and wait and wait. And they're just like pushing people away a bit. And people are getting confused. So what are the symptoms that you guys recognize so far? Because, yeah.
Nico, do you know?
I had a very brief call about that. I actually am waiting for Örjan to be free from his meeting my guys right now. And as we are also a health company, we have today basically quarantined, or we have to quarantine our factory very soon because there's the first case. Like what most likely or the first suspicion about the virus, but what he said that very briefly was that it's somehow very pain that has not been felt before, and like you don't realize you can't like figure that you can't realize that you're in your own body. It's just really pain. But this has like not been like super detailed yet, so I can update as soon as I can have a little bit broader.
But that's the thing. Some people, they really feel pain and everything, and it's really bad for them. But what I noticed that for some people, they don't have all the symptoms and they can just they just keep on going, you know, and it's not like really bad for them. So that's the thing. Like, it's hard to say exactly what to feel, because I've seen 2 people, and one said it was really bad, and the other said it was like mild. They didn't even really get that much fever, you know. So
this will be exactly the interesting thing, that for example this person who is in very serious pain now, going to the hospital, he was skiing in northern Italy, so he's gotten the virus from kind of the hub, but what about someone who has gotten it 3 generations down from that? Or it's too short to tell, but as I've understood that it's very different depending how you get it and where you get it. So somehow the virus is adjusting. But of course, I don't think that it's life-threatening for anyone our age, unless we have some more severe autoimmune problems, or heart, or you know, with deficiency in the lungs. But it can be a very painful process. That's what I have understood, and it's not the first time it has popped up in the last few days now.
yeah. Do you guys think you can treat this at home without going to the doctor? So let's say we figure out I have the virus, and can I just stay home and treat myself there? What are your guys' opinion on this?
Okay.
I think for the most part it should be like that. But what I have understood from our main scientist, that it's like, for example, the elderly, like above 80, it's pretty much 30% chance that you're going to die if you're above 80. You need with a 30% probability, or at least a 15% probability, you need the respiratory lung machine. But about 15%, 10 to 15% of all infected, they need medical care. So the bigger probability is that you can actually just manage it on yourself. And as it seems that we're talking now about, and our main scientist is talking about the metabolic age, because if you look at Worldometer, for example, that you can click the age graph and what is the seriousness of each demographic, and it seems that the younger you are, the lower your metabolic age is, the more immune you are, the less at risk you are in terms of dying. And that's also exactly absolutely actually what what the products in my company are working on, helping against people, protecting the immune, and also lowering that metabolic age. And that's, yeah, I suggest to kind of, we're going to run a marathon soon, most of us, unless we quarantine ourselves from now. So we should get prepared for that marathon, so it doesn't come unexpected. And I guess we're going to talk about how different ideas on how to boost the immune later. But
yeah, thank you, Miko. Thank you for joining the call as well and sharing these insights.
thank you. And sorry, my head is not in the right place. I didn't sleep much because of this situation, and I've just been trying to call SAS and Norwegian and change flights and stuff like that. So it's been a bit of a stressful morning.
Yeah, I understand. And this is the moment for all of us to stand up. There's two types of people. There's ostriches who like to stick their head in the sand and pretend like nothing will be going on. And there's the heroes who can now see the facts and say, okay, what needs to be done? One thing that we are working on right now is what I believe is the most valuable and relevant thing that can be created for all the people here. As I'm imagining what quarantine looks like, and there's no package delivery, so no goods, like just you in your home with your loved ones. The one most valuable thing people need to learn is how to boost their own immune system, how to make yourself stronger, how to use your body's innate capacity to be strong and deal with the virus, or not even take it in. So we are here with the crisis project team, three of us. We're putting together a simple online course that we want to distribute for a very low price, where we bring in experts to show like simple things that anyone can do simply with the body: breath work, yoga, meditation, a very simple program. Um, that's one way where we as entrepreneurs can step up and bring to the world what is needed. I spoke yesterday to another entrepreneur, and he's working on an innovation with like combining some natural herbs, some pollen, that is proven to slow down virus. It's not a medicine, but it slows down, so it boosts the immune as well. But I mean, you can order 2,000 bottles, which will keep one person going for a month. It's just the numbers are very low. Entrepreneurial opportunities are coming up, and so I'm asking myself, and I encourage all of you to ask yourself, what is relevant right now? What can we create that the world needs, that the people need, once we've taken care of ourselves first, obviously. If you have, if you have an additional idea about this, please talk.
Hey, Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's Steve here. Hello, folks. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, my background is I'm a psychologist, hypnotherapist, coach kind of person. And basically, you know, I don't want to undermine any of the reality of this, you know, and I think we do have to take this seriously, but this is a time more than ever. We need to be able to keep ourselves in our more rational head, because we've got this little amygdala, which is in our subconscious brain, which is our security guard. And then we've got, you know, the rational brain, which is the CEO that should be in charge. And right now, because of the media, which is generally the fear factory as I see it, right? And now it's a perfect opportunity for the media and politicians to take advantage of this and say, don't worry, we're going to create this fear and then we're going to protect you. And whilst some of that will be true, there'll be a lot of hype there, and there'll be a lot of people whose amygdalas right now, their security guards are going, oh my God, life is over. And they're going to have financial worries. They're going to be worried about their children. They're going to be worried about their health. And whilst part of that is okay, because it will trigger us to take action, if it becomes too much, then we're going to be less able to take sensible action, because the more the security guard in our subconscious is screaming, the less able our CEO, our rational brain, is to lead the organization anymore. The security guard wants to take over, actually. So I think it's about helping people to realize that as well, that they need to be aware of the stuff that they can do something about, and then the stuff that they can't, because there's going to be lots of what if thinking where there is just no solution. And all that does is triggers more of the security guard to worry. It keeps people awake. It creates stress. It produces a cortisol response, which of course depletes the immune system. So helping people to realize the difference between this is a reasonable thought, you know, so what if I don't have food for 2 weeks and my children get sick? Well, then there might be a sensible action there. There might be take my children out of school and let's, without being panicky, let's buy some sensible things so that I could be in quarantine for 2 weeks. So then that thought has gone away. But the kind of thinking of what if I get sick and I'm going to die? What if I lose my family? What if I lose my job? None of that is proven yet. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about that apart from making sure you take care of your immune system right now and only focus on the stuff you can do something about. So, you know, the CEO is in charge there and you're telling the security guard, okay, it's not a perfect situation. The organization internally is a little bit disrupted right now, but I, as the CEO, I'm doing what I can. And I am still in charge. I'm not going to let the security guard, you know, so the security guard is trying to warn us right now, but there's a lot of stuff that it's trying to warn us about that will create thoughts that we can't do anything about. And that will create excess worry, excess concern. And that in itself is a vicious cycle to get into, and it will deplete the immune system. So logically, you know, we can make sure we eat as well as we can. We can practice meditation and mindfulness. I was watching a great video that Miko's wife Anita sent yesterday. We can share it, about the evidence that just 4 or 5 days of meditation, the impact, the positive impact that has on the immune system. Proven science, not voodoo or woo-woo. This is, you know, factual. Helping people to manage their emotional states and not go into panic, helping people to realize the difference between what if thinking they can do something about and what if thinking they can't do something about. And generally try to stay as much as possible in a place of love, gratitude, and kindness, because fear is contagious, right? Fear is the most destructive emotion, and it's kind of the antidote to love and kindness. So while we're in a fear state, we're not going to be effective, and it makes us selfish, it makes us jealous, it makes us greedy, it makes us love and kindness and gratitude does the opposite. So encouraging people to say, okay, well, you can be grateful for you're not ill today, you've got your loved ones around you. And then there's a bigger picture here, and I'll shut up after this. But as I see it, right, the world has been on a path to destruction, all right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the virus is a good thing, it's not. But, you know, the current business model is growth, 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 materialism, more and more and more. And we're killing ourselves, we're killing our food chains, we're killing our environment, we're killing our planet. And that cannot continue. And maybe, just maybe, even though it's not the way I would want it to happen, of course, this is going to force people to go into local community, spending less money, buying less things, and suddenly realize during this period that there's something else here. You have to spend more time with your loved ones. You'll have to spend more time at home. A walk on the beach and a walk in the forest is free of charge, right? And it's a healthy thing to do right now. And you're not likely to catch the virus out there because there's not going to be hordes of people. So maybe this is a time for people to go within and just share a message to everyone that this is a chance to maybe raise the level of consciousness and what's going on in the planet. Just to emphasize, the virus is not the ideal way to do it. And I'm not, saying it's a good thing, but there may be some good things that come out of this. I'll stop.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Steve. All these things need to be said. What's the opportunity here? Shift your consciousness. That's something everybody can do. And when we're all sitting at home, chilling for 40 days, let's shift the attention there.
Yeah.
I see that in the meantime, Alessio has joined. Alessio, would you unmute yourself and speak about what you experienced in Italy? What is the quarantine like? And most of all, what can you recommend to us who have a quarantine coming up in probably 1 or 2 weeks?
Okay, so hello to everyone, guys. I don't know everyone here. So for example, it's the first time I see Steve. So nice to meet you, Steve. And while for the other guys, I think I've known all of them already. So you all know the situation in Italy. So I think sometimes I hear the BBC news. So also for me to understand the perception of Italy from abroad. So I know that you all know the situation here. And since yesterday, we are officially in pandemic state. So this is, of course, the worst situation ever since World War II for Italy. They applied the protocol they apply during wars. So no one is allowed to go out, basically. And just for urgency or to do grocery. And also in this case, just one person per family can go out to do groceries. So of course it's a horrible situation. Whenever you go out, you need to sign this type of forms stating your responsibility, that you are aware of the risk that you take to go out. So yeah, even when you go out, just in this type of situations, you need to wear masks, so protective masks. And in my opinion, what I saw, and by the way, I do agree with Steve in terms of awareness of people, because also for me during these days, it was a sort of realization to understand the real values of life. So whenever we take for granted life, health, community, in these days they are not anymore, because the feeling that we can have a shortage in terms of food, in terms of money, it's real. And this is the first time in my life I really feel this type of fear. The worst thing I see around is really the feeling of fear indeed. So it was the first time I really felt this sense of instability, uncertainty, fear of your own life, of your health. So yeah, this is the main things. People are all nervous around. There are fights everywhere because of course people are already very, very tense. So it's enough to say something wrong and you see people having fights everywhere. There are policemen everywhere as well. So yeah, it's a horrible situation. Yeah, it looks like being in war. And again, for me, myself, it was the first time that I really felt my life in danger. So that's the main outcome I can see.
Thank you, Alessio. Alessio, I see Miko has a question. First, I would like to know, how can we prepare for this moment?
Yeah, of course, the basic things are to avoid physical contacts with people. That's the main thing everyone is speaking about. And to stay home as much as possible. I know it's hard, especially for business people, for people who actually go to offices and such, but this is the main thing to do. And that's also the reason why Italy is the worst country after China is because people didn't consider this point at the very beginning. So people in Italy didn't take full responsibility in this. So people at the beginning just said, okay, who cares, I will continue to go out to meet people. And that's the real reason why it spread away in so fast compared to other countries like the Netherlands or other countries. So yeah, that's the main suggestion. The other suggestion, of course, is to do some stocking up. Like you said, Alexander, in the group, so to prepare some groceries, some stockings, also in terms of cash. That's of course useful, but the main thing is to really avoid human contact, unfortunately.
Thank you for highlighting that. Very, very, very useful. Miko, a moment ago you raised your hand. Is it still actual?
Hi, Alessio. Thank you for sharing that. Very useful, and I'm curious about do you have family, friends, acquaintances that are at the moment like very ill, and do you see like what kind of symptoms is coming for, let's say, okay, we know that above people who are above 80 are obviously being, or above 70 are being are the most vulnerable, and about a third of them seems to be needing hospital care. But I've also heard that people your age, my age, who are normally have a good immune and are healthy, are also sick, and some people very sick. So, do you have that also?
So fortunately, no one of my friends nor relatives got the virus. So it doesn't touch me personally. But
That's
the main
great.
issue is what you just said. So at the beginning, just people older than 70 or 80 years old died. So it did happen. But in the last week, we had some cases also for 30 years old people. So that's also the reason why fear is starting to get real, also for people like me, also for guys. Of course, there are some exceptions. So these people maybe already had some past illnesses or some past weaknesses, but still it happened. Some of my friends had friends who actually got the virus. So yeah, it's also for me, it's getting closer and closer and closer. My friend works at a department, and in that department, a person got the virus. So they are in isolation as well. So yeah, it's getting closer and closer. And every day, thousands and thousands of new cases come up. Also in my area. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, one thing what I forgot to mention about Norway when you guys asked me earlier about what's the status there. Actually, the real number is so much bigger, because it was only until yesterday that they started to getting enough tests. Until yesterday, they had pretty much very, very few tests. So the amount of people who have actually been tested is super low, and most of them are having the virus. So it's like, yeah, it seems to be the worst hub in terms of spread at the moment in Europe after Italy, and we're talking about 10 times smaller country versus Italy. So and I think that in many of those cases it's the same situation, that the amount of testing done is very, very low. So the reality can be way, way, way bigger than, like, at least 10 times or even 100 times bigger than what we're seeing now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, by the way, a very important point I forgot to mention is that there are not enough places in the hospitals. So in these cases, it's sad to say, but it's real. If they have one person of 75 years old and me, they let that person die because they want to save me, because they have higher probabilities to survive. So that's also the reason why, for example, I'm scared for my mother, because my mother is 65. So should she take the virus, they wouldn't even try to save her, because they put more attention on people like me who have high probabilities to survive. So that's also another huge issue, because in these cases they apply the same protocol they apply during wars, and during wars they need to do this, to choose what people to save. So that's one of the saddest things, that should the person older than 60 get the virus, they basically don't even try to save this person.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what can we do? What can we do? We can connect like this online. This is valuable. I don't know about you guys, but okay, this feels good. We've been talking here about organizing daily meditation. Put Zoom live on, all get online, and from wherever we are, meditate, connect to our higher selves. Show people how to boost their own immune system. Give the how-to stuff you can do with yourself all day, every day, especially when you stay at home. What else comes to mind? If you have an idea to add on, what can we do? Should, because that's also our role. We are ahead of the curve. As entrepreneurs, as business people, we're thinking further ahead than the rest. So what is that? Steve, what do you suggest?
So mirror neurons in our brain are really important, right? so is connection with other humans. You know, when we're social animals, so even though we're being forced into a situation of more and more quarantine, we still need to connect. And I think we can still do that online. You cry at a sad movie, you laugh at a funny movie, right? So you can still get mirror neurons triggered in other people. So I think definitely, Alex, this is a beautiful thing that you're doing here with, I guess, a whole bunch of like-minded entrepreneurial people. We need to keep that momentum going. We need to grow that, but we also need to think about our mindsets and our energies coming into the calls, so that of course there's going to be fear going on for us as well. And of course, you know, listening to what you just shared about Italy there, it's real, you know, so I'm not ignoring that, and I'm in no way, but we also think, you know, we're going to be better if we're in a good place of energy and giving ourselves. So, and we can feed each other virtually online doing that. The other thing that I can offer, and I'm thinking of lots of ways, because I actually run online programs, and you know, I work in the virtual world anyhow, is I'm going to record you guys, if you want it, a guided hypnosis session to boost your immune system, creating, and I'm going to share that with you guys. So we just need to figure out a way of how that can be shared, and I'll get that recorded in the next couple of days, specifically about bringing your internal immune system forces right up to the top, so we can work on it and then the kind of subconscious level. I have got an amazing friend in the UK who's got a clinic in Harley Street, Denise, who's just like one of the world's best nutritionists. And she is preparing right now some stuff. And Miko and I are going to have a call with her later about the nutritional stuff that we need to get inside of us to get our immune system right up to the very top. So we're going to create something there. And there's going to be a live Facebook session very soon that Miko and I and Denise will arrange. Obviously, we want to invite all of you guys to come along to that. And I'm going to start creating a whole bunch of videos and stuff in the next few days about dealing with the emotional side, dealing with the emotional impact, and still staying connected in humans and trying to keep ourselves as healthy emotionally, physically, and spiritually as we can. And I'm going to share all of that stuff with anyone that's interested. So that's what I can contribute. Yeah.
Awesome. Nico.
Thank you, Steve. It's cool sitting behind of you and hearing you both. In terms of also the like boosting the immune system part, we need to take care of our physical well-being. And Steve will help us with the emotional and the mental side. Of course, exercise and, you know, cold showers and these kind of things. Good sleep is definitely something I need to work on now. But at the same time, there are some specific supplements that clearly provenly reduce the metabolic age, which is where we have the benefit of. So you may be, you know, my mom may be 65 years old, but her metabolic age is 45 thanks to some products that she's taking. And also in case of catching the virus, there's several studies, I think from Bruce Lipton and Dr. Mark Hyman also has mentioned about the effect of very high dosages of liquid high quality C vitamin, like up to 1 gram every hour, can be taken, like really high dosages to kill the virus faster and to boost your immune. And of course also D vitamin liquid form. I can send some links if you want really to know a few really high quality ones. And the zinc and selenium also keep popping up. My good friend is the #1 biohacker in Finland, and he said if you're going to take 4 things now, take really strong C vitamin, D vitamin, selenium, and zinc. And on top of that, we need to take down the inflammation. We need to boost the immune and take down inflammation and oxidation, antioxidative stress that our body is in right now. And that's actually where the main product what I'm working in comes into place, which is the wild fish extra virgin olive combination. So we get rid of the inflammation, balance our omegas, and get all the antioxidants from the olive. And this is something that it's not just, you know, let's sell this as the best product out there, but we've actually proven with 500,000 tests that it's the most effective omega product in the world at the moment. This is what we've been working with for the last 8 years. And another thing that you might want to consider, if you want to make yourself more bulletproof, there came a study out of China this week about beta glucans, which is made of baker's yeast, natural immune boost, much more powerful than reishi or shiitake or any of those mushrooms. Baker's beta glucans, well-immune coenzyme Q10 beta. I can send more information about that. And then you need to balance your microbiome, your gut, prebiotic fibers. So because in the microbiome is, and the bacteria, there's more bacteria actually than cells, like hundreds of trillions. And it's very important part of playing against your immune system. So these are the kind of things that you can do to prepare for the marathon, what is to come. In correlation with exercise, sleep, meditation, and just positive thinking, we need to get into Buddha mode, into Dharma, into only positive thoughts. And this is, I think, the best protection that we can think of. But if you're interested to know more about that, I can send the health protocol kit that I'm taking and my family at the moment and people that I care about. So I'm happy to share that.
I'm taking it all too, by the way, and I've had really positive results with this stuff. Just
And for example, Denise Kelly, who Steve mentioned, she's never ever recommended any supplement to any of her customers before, except our oil as the only exception, for the sake of protecting your heart, your brain, and your immune function. If you think of where the virus is attacking your immune, and also heart disease or heart cardiovascular problems, asthma, high blood pressure, this is exactly where our product is designed to protect you. So it's the key words are lower your metabolic age, find ways how you can be biologically younger, and get your elderlies there as well, our parents, people that our grandparents, if they're still alive.
Thank you, Miko, and I'll be in touch as well regarding the online program, because the supplement is a specific item we like to address there as well. What we intend to do to boost our immune system is for every area. So there's meditation, there's breath work, there's herbs, affirmations, physical exercise, sleep, stress, yoga, food and drink, supplements. We want to collect a few best practices from an expert, displayed like that as a do-it-yourself kit for anyone who wants to take matter in their own hands. So thank you for bringing up the supplement part as well. I added it to the list. Okay. Does anyone have a final closing thought before we close off this call? Okay, checking the cameras. It's calm. Hey, Romy joined as well. Romy, good to see you. Question, guys. I see 2 hands up. Nico.
Just real quick, I posted our main scientist and Dr. Paul Clayton, who's an Oxford PhD and chief advisor of the Royal Society of Medicine Journal, the most respected journal for doctors basically in the world. And he's the leader in pharmaconutrition, and he's advising some of the same things that I have, and he has some other products that is in no way related to him or me, but we have ordered a product from the UK called KIB 500. And this is like the immune boosters of the immune boost. It's like 90 pounds for 3 capsules in case you get the virus and you really get sick. I've seen myself, our founder, with a 40-degree fever, not corona related, but we were in an event in Oslo. Our founder was really out of it and high fever and just lying in bed. He had to go on stage to give a 40-minute keynote. Paul Clayton gave him KIP 500. In 15 minutes, the guy was like 20-year-old kid jumping and with an incredible energy. I've never seen such a change. And so but Paul Clayton is recommending that only in case you catch it and you need to like really save yourself or recover faster. So it's in his blog, but he also gives a lot of other different tips on what to do. There's also another product called Nasal something from Sweden, and it's made of the same stuff that the when moms are breastfeeding the babies. So you put it around your mouth and nose area, and that protects you in getting the virus if you're traveling, if you need to go to the supermarket or to places. So I also ordered some now for me and my family. But they're all in the blog. Check it out. There's a lot of good information there.
Okay. Thank you, Miko. Danny, you had your hand raised as well.
Yeah. For me, I just I want to have a conclusion what to do next now. I mean, I've been packing up some foods for the past few weeks, but my routine is still as usual. Would you guys agree that the best would be to just, I don't know, go on quarantine ourselves as well for 15 days until,
Yeah,
okay.
that is definitely my conclusion. Stock up on food, get cash in your hands, diversify where your money is. Bank account, preferably other bank account, most of all cash, maybe silver, gold, Bitcoin, PayPal, so that you can access it whatever the governments decide.
Definitely.
Avoid physical contact. As of now on, don't touch anyone.
We've taken our kids out of school as of today in home quarantine ourselves because the school hasn't taken any action, and it's an international school, so it's like just a matter of days. Already two of them have been closed. So.
Yeah. And also raising awareness for other people as well, right? So I'm also part of another group, so I'm giving them a heads up as well, because everybody's waiting on the government, but the government is, by the time they decide to do something, is like things are already scaled up already. Oh.
That's right. Can I give a thumbs up if you are okay to distribute this recording publicly online? Okay, but I didn't see everyone. I'm just checking. Romy, Bertil. Okay, we have all the okays. Yeah, people need to know this. People need to understand this. So I think that's the next step. And we stay in close communication. We have the WhatsApp group. We'll probably start a new Facebook group that is purely focused on building your own autoimmune. Daily meditations. We're going to start with that either today or tomorrow. And yeah, this is how we communicate. Also for us, like based on what we discussed, we need to let it sink in. Most important right now, today, each and every one of you, focus on yourself, getting your own stuff in order, your own quarantine, your own stocking up, your own money position. Make that your focus today. And then tomorrow, we're going to build this new world. I fucking love you guys. Okay. Stay connected. Stay in the conversation on WhatsApp. Stay connected. Together we pull each other through. We pull everyone else through. Let's shine our lights. We know the way, Steve. Consciousness, connection with yourself. That is the way. We will demonstrate it. We will step up. We will show everyone the power that they hold within themselves. That's our job right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for organizing, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. It's very
Take care, everyone. Take care.
Peace and love.